Woohoo! And you are welcome to the Black Table. It has been quite the adventurous 1 week since the elections, and we are here today because we need a session. Welcome, my name is Mazino Appeal. Once again, this is the Black Table. You guys know what we do here. We invite you into our worlds, let you guys know exactly what it's like on here, especially when we libate. Welcome. Hope you have your drinks out because that's what it's all about. I'm not here alone. It's all about the company. Let me introduce to you, je te présente, the one, the only G-A-N-G gang who we brought from over the counter because he's no longer for sale. He has sold. No, he hasn't. I'm joking. Mr. Gang, you're welcome, man. You know where I was going with that, yeah?
Yes, I do. Fellow Nigerians, welcome to the Black Table.
Good to have you. And we're going to be talking about that today. To my right, well, we chose to bring him over today from the other side. He knows what. He's breaking the fourth wall today. Oh, yeah. He is Mr. Olamide, not Bado, Jean-Luc, not Picard.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Je m'appelle Monsieur Legrand.
French name the man who doesn't speak French.
Oh, I speak a little.
Just a little.
In the right area.
The different not the French I'm talking about. Well, good to have you guys here.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here.
We've got quite the topics here today, and as usual, we always have these quick fire topics that we expect you guys to also perhaps maybe tell us what you think about at the end of the show. But today, for our main topic, we're going to be talking something, well, it's kind of like outside of the box from what we usually would do. Today we're talking, politics, money, and people. Stay tuned, because well, it's that time of the year we've been expecting, and it's come and gone. Or has it? Hasn't it? What are the changes? What would people have to adjust to or readjust to, or perhaps maybe, how did we put it from before again? Getting used to the old normal.
Yeah, the old normal. Yeah.
We'll explain exactly what that is. But before then, we've got other quickfire topics we'll be addressing just before the main topic. Let's do a very short break. When we get back in, we kick off. You are welcome. It is the Black Table, like I promised from before that very... Was that even a break? Why do we do that break?
That's more like... I don't know what.
He's the man responsible for everything.
Just to clear our throats, so have a breather.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, so first off, let me say welcome. Welcome, guys.
Oh, it's great to be
back.
back.
How's your week been?
It's been funny. Because it's the atmosphere was kind of different.
Yeah,
statewide, especially when you're in the city of Lagos. It was like a lot of people. Holiday, a lot of people took off time off work. I did as well. My kids are on midterm as well, so it was just a lot of family time and not too busy on the streets of Lagos, on the island where I reside and also work as well. So it was a funny week because even in the workplace, it was like some people were like not around, and I was like, is it a public holiday or something?
It did seem like a public holiday.
So it was like
it's still going on.
Oh, it's going on. Definitely,
it's still going on.
What a time to be a big brother.
What a time.
But I mean, yeah. And there's a reason why I mixed it up with that because for some strange reasons, everywhere seems a bit tense.
Yeah, you need a bit of humor, don't you?
Yeah. There's need for you to be able to separate.
I agree.
Certain areas of life and be able to appreciate life itself. I think every day is a win. And it got to a point whereby people just need to really like chill out. I wanted to chill out. I felt that the way people were going about the entire political situation, it was a lot. It was too much. And in reality, you said before we came on the show, politics is a long game. Yeah. And it's sad that a lot of people don't really understand what they say online when they go online. And
if you milk that cow now, we'll have no milk for later. So let's just save it, okay? We've got quick fire topics. It's going to start a very light note. Let's do that already. If you guys were following social media for the past 2 weeks, there was this very interesting entry here that I'm going to let you guys sink your teeth into. And it was one entry by Kingsley Okonkwo. You know him, yeah? Kingsley Okonkwo.
That's my pastor.
Yeah, he's a preacher. He asked, please, should a cheating partner be forgiven and taken back? Very many entries came in after that one, but to me it was a non sequitur. I'm like, if he's repentive, if he's, what's the word, not repentive? If it's, I'm looking for a big word. If the guy repents, why not? Why don't you take it back? I wonder why that question was a question in the first place.
No,
why does it he? if he or she.
Exactly. That's where I wanted to come in.
Jerry.
That statement is not just for one gender.
Yeah.
It's for the only two genders we are familiar with, male and female.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Unless you're transparent. Unless you're transparent. You're transiting from being.
If you follow the post that he put up on Twitter, you'd see that there were a lot of comments and a breakdown of why and how. Do you understand? There's difference between forgiving and forgetting. And how you can actually move on, and the kind of cheating they're talking about in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The levels of infidelity. Is it emotional? Is it sexual? Is it material-wise? When can you actually take this person back? And it's not just a yes or no answer. Yes, I can take them back. It always has to be based on certain conditions because you don't want this to reoccur. And the reason why you put up that post was to try to basically promote the habit of counseling, of helping people get through relationships or marriage. Like you were saying, based on cheating.
Yeah. It actually goes on to note the conditions and everything.
Cheating, are you in a relationship or are you married?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's some people that have cheated in their relationships, but after marriage, they've not cheated. You get me? So it just works on the dynamics, just basically telling people that your relationship exist, continue to exist.
Check
if your
this out.
partner cheats.
Jean-Luc, look what he says here. He says the relationship marriage, in the relationship/marriage, the offender and the offended all will need healing or else further damage will be done. He goes on, forgiveness, yes. Get counseling, yes. Then taken back depends on the type of cheating. If it's a texting, yes. If it's emotional, yes. If it's intercourse, never.
Never forgive.
So,
I think
for a preacher who
that was somebody's comment. That wasn't his comment. That was somebody's comment.
Oh, my bad. My apologies. That was somebody's comment, actually. Thank you very much for bringing that to note. So I was like, never.
Well, I think
you took a breather there.
Yes, because it takes a certain level of maturity to understand what it means to be in a relationship. I can tell you, maybe not a fact, but I can tell you that out of 10 people in a relationship, 6 to 7 people have gone through moments whereby they've had to question, their partner's loyalty or faithfulness. And guess what? Out of those 7 people, about 5 actually did it. And if we run by those numbers, there wouldn't be relationships anymore. I mean, everyone would probably just walk away. But there are times whereby you really need to sit down and understand how that relationship got to that level.
Oh,
is it because of the things that you weren't doing or you were doing, or is it because there wasn't
most people think the cheating just happens like that. You just see something, you trip, fall, and
if
then
it's
you
a
land
marriage,
some
if it's
sex
a
or
marriage,
something.
I don't think, I said this once before, I'm going to say it again, I don't think any man just step out of his home and says, oh, I'm going out and I'm going to trip with the nicest lady I see out there. It doesn't work like that. And the same thing with women. Yeah. So it has to be something that you need to be able to look at, deal with, and itemize it so that you are able to deal with the hard truths. And with that, yes, do people cheat? Yes. Should you forgive? Why not? If you believe in a relationship.
But how many times, if I may ask,
can I be honest? I believe that every relationship is different from another. You get me? So based on how many times, if it works for you, it works for you. You can be cheating and forget about me. So you hear things like, yeah, we dated, but it only lasted 3 months. And I'm like, what kind of relationship is that? You wanted to justify that I was doing all of these actions while in a relationship, and I wasn't just somebody that was just shagging.
Exactly.
So some people do that. They get into relationships and like, you know what? I need to shag, but I just don't want to shag anybody. Let me date somebody for a week.
Validated.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for.
I remember when I was in uni.
You want to tell one of those stories again?
Yeah.
I was going to say let's move on, but
let's move on.
Because you could still come back to that.
Sure.
Yeah, because we've got so many quick fire topics.
Coming back to many things.
Speaking of coming back, did you know that you could break it in the act?
I heard.
Yeah, porn star, Australian porn star. In the act, actually, during a very intense sex scene, you're smiling a bit too wide, Olamide. He actually broke it. Now, I've heard that people can break it. I've heard people break it, but I'm wondering whether in between us three, it's ever actually happened that you went left when you should have been going straight.
Can I be honest with you? When I was of the world...
Be very honest.
I won't lie to you. When I was of the world... This is a long time ago. I can't even remember when.
Testing too much.
When I was of the world, point that. If I hadn't moved with the motion, I felt something would have broke. And here's the funny thing. I now experience a certain level of pain instead of pleasure. Do you understand? But of course, she had no idea. And then it was something that I just had to get into the groove and adjust certain positions and stuff and say, can you calm down? Who are you trying to impress?
I didn't think he was that excited.
Honestly, I have no idea. Honestly,
I can't say I've experienced that.
No,
I'll tell you a silly story though. As a kid, I did try bending it.
Because you play safe. You play safe sometimes.
I did try bending it as a kid. It was just personal experiment. But what I discovered was totally different. It was actually, oh, I can do that. Oh, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so
there's certain angles
you can flex it
without Thanos.
Without Thanos, yeah. How much would you be tempted with to appear in one of those videos?
Like you said, it was a porn star actually explained this experience.
Yeah, I would never do porn.
You never shoot porn. You never get paid $1 million for porn.
No, I didn't say I would never collect money. I said I would never do porn. But the problem is, for the price of which I would do porn, wouldn't make sense. So hence, I would never do porn.
What about you, Zeno?
I would never do porn.
I'll do it.
Listen, see.
For the right price, bring it on.
He's always been on about this.
See, you say that now, I promise you never do porn.
I'll do it for the right amount.
See,
say it again.
The internet
I said I will do porn for the right amount.
Olamide, the
internet. That's the advertorial gone out there for Olamide. So just in case you're into,
the internet is going to outlive you.
It's not just the internet; it's the impact on his kids
and your family members. Nah, man,
no.
Never.
Think about all those moments you wasted in the past.
No.
All right, moving on to our next quick fire topic.
Can I just quickly say something?
Real quick, yeah.
No, I can't. No, I forget. I don't want to say it anymore.
He does this every time.
As much as I would never do, I've recorded myself a couple of times.
Okay, so fine. I'm going to push this topic aside. So is there anything wrong with a couple consensually recording themselves? And what's the thrill? You've done it.
I've done it, yeah, sure.
So I did it in my younger years.
Yeah, it was when I was of the world. No, but here's the thing. It's like sometimes you never like I've always had this
inquisition into what the.
Thank you. I'm trying to look for the English that will not make me look like an idiot, like a stupid person.
Just be curious, basically.
Do you understand? With mirrors, try to look at yourself and see, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? How am I performing?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Am I putting in the work?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So sometimes
such physical words.
The only way to do that is actually, catch it on record and then watch it back and see how you can improve.
I can tell you a perfect
how you can improve yourself. But I now found out that there's no need for it. There's no need for it.
No, well, okay. Let me not say this. I'm just going to drink.
It was rather helpful, I would say, but
educationally, it was for
research.
Yes, but I would never.
Science.
I would never.
Yeah,
science.
Well, is in it for the money. It's
I'll
all
do
good.
it.
All right.
I'll do it.
Next quick fire topic: is it cheating if it's virtual? So, science and technology has gotten to the part where you could actually have virtual sex. So people are actually buying Wii games on Nintendo. What do you call them? Whole virtual reality games where you can actually visualize 3D acts of sexual, activities.
No, it's not cheating.
I haven't even finished. You're so much in a rush.
It's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
Okay, because I'm going to go somewhere else with this.
Yeah, you can, but it's not cheating.
No,
wherever you go to, it's not cheating.
Wait. Please explain why it's not cheating.
Okay, so in today's world, we have loads of women with loads of sexual toys and all that, and they use these things while they're in women, and they use them while they're in relationships, and it's not seen as cheating. It's called self-pleasuring, I think that's what they call it.
Self-love.
Self-love or whatever. So, I mean, it's very close to that, whether you're doing it virtually or not. I don't say that's cheating.
Dan, what do you think?
Now, I'm going to put myself, and I shouldn't do this, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of the opposite gender. You understand? A lot of women, they use the rose, they use the dildos, they use all of that stuff.
What is that?
They use the bullet. They use the bullet, whatever it is.
Those?
A lot of women,
we'll take to school.
Some of the stuff that you've bought before, but never. Here's the thing: a lot of women use these tools and what it is for themselves because they feel as if they don't get satisfied by men. So in their world, it's not cheating. But if a man decides to buy a sex doll, do you understand, to practice with and stuff? Women tend to feel as if, why are you doing that? They feel as if a man's mental state is always thinking about someone. So they might see it more like cheating, which it is not. So I agree with him to say it's not cheating regardless. As long as you're not with a physical human being.
Would your wife let you get one of those?
What? A virtual...
virtual pleasure system.
Can I be honest?
As an African man.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
We don't need that.
We don't need that.
We don't need that. We good.
But if you, but do you think she'd buy you one as a gift? Do you think she'd let you have one if you said I wanted to have one?
My wife is a very normal, moral human being. She has sense. Do you understand? and she knows that at this stage in our lives, we are enough. We are enough, so we don't really need that extra.
Does your wife have moral scruples regarding that?
No, you should ask me.
I am asking
you. No, you should ask me.
I
don't have. I think when it comes to sexual experimentation, there really isn't any so-called limits.
Yeah.
I don't believe there are limits because we've seen time and time again how it's evolved, how people have pushed the boundaries just to be able to reach certain peaks of their sexual prowess. So for me,
it's like a job. Well, I'm like, take it easy, man.
I'm just saying that, you know what, whatever makes certain individuals feel better about themselves, it's all good.
Boom. Thank you said that. Whatever makes certain individuals feel better about themselves is all good. Individual, you did not say both partners. So the way I see it, and this is my submission for anything that becomes a habit or that you get addicted to, is the fact that once you start doing something and it affects your partner adversely, it's a problem. So even if it has nothing bad, even if you say that there's nothing bad with it, as long as your partner has a problem with it, then
so that's where it comes true. Like,
and that also extends to manually, digitally pleasuring yourself. I can't believe I just
but I mean
masturbation.
I mean, yes, a lot of men and women do this regularly. A lot of men
exactly
masturbate.
Why is it so difficult for you to say the word? Why is it
just
difficult for people to say that?
He's not a master in that.
No, I'm not a master, but I'm telling you that every
He debates a lot.
But my point is this: in the world today, whether it's Africa or the rest of the world, people do this, and as long as people continue to do that, it is a form of
word. Continue to do what?
As long as people continue to masturbate, then any form of sexual experiment or pleasure or pleasure or whatever, as far as I'm concerned, it's okay. As long as people can do it. I think it's double standards. I think it's hypocrisy when a man tells his partner that, oh, sorry, you can't use a sexual toy because you can't pleasure. Nah, come on. The world has gone way beyond that.
This is just about the world. The world didn't even set a standard.
Yeah.
You know the things that set standards? It's religion, it's culture, it's so and so and so. So
let me paint
in just a second. So as human beings, how did you most of us Nigerians, how did you discover that you had sexual powers? How did you discover that you could pleasure yourself? Nobody taught you. It was very, very
no one
natural.
teaches that.
So it would mean that perhaps maybe it's a very natural thing. However, I still submit and maintain that if your partner has a problem with it, or if it becomes a problem where you overdo it and you can no longer satisfy your partner.
Well, I think most.
So you use these games
I want to come from two different angles.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of your self-pleasuring, you are not supposed to please yourself in this life.
I don't think Mali
you just called somebody that's wayward. In fact, when that time comes, we know where.
Speaking of wayward people their kids might think are wayward. Did you guys hear that JJC actually got married again?
Oh yeah,
got married in the north this time.
Yeah,
it's only been 9 months.
It happened so quick.
It's only been 9 months. So his son actually called him out and
something called a serial
master debater.
No,
serial womanizer.
Not womanizer. Someone who likes to get married serially.
How many times have you been married?
If there was a serial killer version of someone who gets married all the time with every opportunity, that would be JJC. I think he's someone who understands that when it comes to a man and a woman agreeing to be together, it has to be formal. It has to be official.
But you use the word opportunity. You make him sound very opportunistic when it comes to marriage. So, are you one of those people who actually think that his marriage to Funke was a contract of sorts?
No, I think every man and woman deserves to be happy. And I think at the point at which they got together, they were happy with one another.
Did it work for both of them?
And it didn't work out. And they ended it.
Okay, so but as an affair, it didn't work out. But outside of that, did it work out for them?
I think
they're public figures, yeah.
Yeah, he walked out.
He came
in
in
for
from
the both of them. I mean, Funke Akindele, like
I didn't hear much about him.
She's vying for,
I know, yeah. So he worked out for her.
He worked out for her.
I didn't
for
hear
him, he's found love again, and he seems to be happy.
It also comes back to what I was saying earlier on. Some people get into certain relationships for certain factors, for certain reasons. You don't want to be a person that's shagging around or being wayward. So you'll be like, you know what? Why didn't I get into another marriage? You can be jumping from one marriage to another just to justify the fact that I'm not sleeping around.
And you know what I really respect about JJC? Even though while he was married to Funke, there were rumors around saying that he was, a mass fornicator or whatever.
Mass whatever,
But in actual sense, he wasn't tied to any relationship outside of his marriage.
That you know of.
No,
I'm not saying
that we all know of. Like, we're in an era whereby rumors fly left and right. He was accused of, messing around. But in actual sense, there was nothing tying to being in a relationship with someone else.
But even in the post that he put up, he's been talking about how he's trying to make amends. He has tried to make amends with his ex-wife, with Funke, and it seems as if that wasn't going anywhere. So he needed to move on. For his son to come out and
always just been an
do that.
I guess.
The son, okay, I'll say he's quite young. Maybe he hasn't had as much experience with women as he has had. But when he has his own experience, he might understand the nature of his father and knowing what is going through his Gen Z. Do you understand?
Any small thing, they want to go on social media,
it's always
criticize people and stuff.
I'm not trying to justify anybody's actions, but it's always easy to attack the man. It's always easy to put stuff on the man and make him feel as if, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. But the man has feelings, the man has wants, the man has needs, and he needs to move on. And my ex-wife isn't giving me a chance at all. And I need to like pour these seeds out somewhere, and I just don't want to do it and I met somebody that and with his own right, especially as a Muslim, with his own right, he can get into this. And he decided, hey, I'm going to make somebody a wife, and she too consensually says, I want this man to be hubby. So there's nothing wrong there. He's ready to move on and continue his life. So why not?
I mean, big ups to him. I think he's moved on. He's made the right
within his rights, like you said. He could even have had another wife. So it's not a big deal.
It's not, but what thing most people fail to realize is it's tough being a man in today's society because for everything you do
under a microscope in today's society, especially when you're a public figure.
Exactly. So in every choice, every decision you make, there are 1,000,001 people lining up, ready to complain, ready to criticize you, ready to call you out, ready to call you names,
To read from you guys. And also, right here on the show, we're going to be taking those comments. So send them in already. Use any of our platforms to do so. When we come back, we've got our main topic. We're talking money, politics, and people. How you've managed to readjust to the old normal and all of that. We'll be back. Let's take a short break and refill. Stay tuned. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of your view and I will be stirring up our guests to get in depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and
always take the bill on the first date, second date, and third date. Bro code. Welcome back. It's the Black Table. We are all refilled, back up, and hopefully you are too. Yeah. Let's get serious for the first time here on the street, and I mean real serious. It's been a tough 2 weeks, well, I say mostly 1 week since before and a little after the elections. It also goes to say that as Nigerians, we're very resilient people. I mean, we went through so much just before the elections, with especially the Naira. I remember we talked about that here on the Black Table. And even up until today, we still are cashless. And I don't mean that in a woke sort of way, as in,
you don't have to say, I've not touched cash
4 weeks now.
Yeah, throughout the month of February. My fingers have not touched.
I had 1,000 Naira bill in my pocket for 3 weeks. I finally had to give it out. I regretted after I did that. I have to pay the security guard, but he doesn't have he's underbanked, so he doesn't have a bank account. So I have to go through the process of actually getting him an account, driving him to the bank, studying. It's crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
How have you managed? I'm genuinely asking everybody out there how you've managed and if you guys are okay. It's worth asking because the other day I was driving past a police guy, and when he stopped me, he said, "Oh God, not sin. I'm just, hungry." And I actually handed him 1,000 Naira.
Even the strippers now, you have to. Even the strippers, you can't.
I'm trying to be serious.
On a more serious note, I went for a wedding. Shout outs, Folly Flow. Shout outs to you. Congrats.
I'm Folly got married. I wasn't invited.
I went for a wedding, and they do the whole thing that you come in, you take some
vouchers,
fake vouchers, and you use that to spray and the rest. That's like what everybody's getting used to, and it's crazy. I'm wondering how. If thank God for transfers and ATM cards and whatnot. If not, I don't know how I would have survived.
The transfers are not good, by the way. I've had a situation where in the past 24 hours, you've been actually privy to this. Past 24 hours, I've been trying to make transfers on my bank app. It hasn't been going. It's very notorious.
I made a transfer to a bank from a bank that starts with the last letter of the alphabet. Until today, that money hasn't been remitted.
Oh my God!
Oh
my God! You know the funny thing was when what Zeno said earlier. I remember I was at the Gentleman's Club like 3 weeks ago.
Wow!
Yeah, myself and some certain people who are on the table with me.
Yeah. you can't smile with the alerts.
Yeah.
Or transfer.
And it was funny because
you keep dancing.
I didn't have to confirm.
You know what was funny was that when men go to clubs like that, you have a good time, you spend some money and all that. But it was so bad that even the ladies who would give you some nice exotic dances were not into it. They were like, "Man, I'm not feeling this. There's no cash anywhere."
But when I was out the world, I would be able to relate.
But only just this afternoon, the Supreme Court has given orders that we should revert back to using the old Naira notes.
Yeah, interesting.
So, which is shocking. Which doesn't make sense.
I'm coming to that now. So it's like. Governor of Kaduna State El-Rufai had already said that it wasn't our business, it was the other guys. They were the ones who instituted this. We didn't want this to go ahead in the first place. So it's back and forth about this. My own is how it's affecting people. I mean, it's like the whiplash that we're going through. It's really concerning. It's affecting personal lives. It's affecting businesses,
relationships.
We talk about relationships.
Do you know what is more upsetting for me is that the Supreme Court says one thing, the central bank says another, and the president says almost the same thing that the central bank is saying. And for me, this thing is so simple. We've seen other countries experience these things as well, and it's so easy. Whenever old notes come into the bank, hold on to it, give out the new notes. Don't tell people the old notes are invalid or not of any use. They can still be in circulation, but once they come into the bank, they don't come out. The new notes come out, and as simple as that sounds, next thing you have only new notes in circulation.
My thought is that we've seen different countries over the years actually change, their currency designs, but there's a process.
The method.
There's a method.
In the UK, you can still use the old notes.
Exactly.
They're not even complaining about it.
And what even in those more developed nations, you can still use the old notes.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But as those old notes come into the system, they don't come back out.
Yeah.
So that's what we are supposed to adopt as well.
Yeah.
Tell people, live your lives, go about your business. But whatever you are taking out, but the problem now is that even the new notes are not available for people to take out. ATMs are not dispensing them. Banks are not giving them out.
Transactions are going online.
And people are those that have it, because if the central bank comes out and says, we've done this trillion amount of new notes, where are the trillion amounts of new notes?
You can't just push it into the system.
You don't push into the system, but the banks need to have it. So a certain group of individuals are hoarding the new denominations.
Okay, so here's the thing. So wasn't that the plan in the beginning, to actually get these, monies from under the carpets to finally resurface?
Yes.
So now that you've asked us to go back and use the old notes, what do you think is going to happen?
It goes back to the norm.
Yeah. So we're going, and that's what. If you didn't get in the beginning when we said getting used to the old note, this is where we are again.
No,
who's to blame? Who do you hold accountable?
Here's the thing. I know both of you as ex-criminals. When you now go to get new money, you shouldn't be getting old money. That's the logic. If you go to a bank now and you say you want to withdraw 100,000, as little as 100,000 naira, they should be giving you new notes and not old notes.
True.
Yeah, they should actually.
When this whole thing came up, then I was partially in support because of I now started understanding the value of moving towards the cashless society.
Well, there's plenty of value in there. Whether we like it or not, we have to face that. I don't know whether it's changed or affected anything.
So for me, for instance, now what I have learned is that I'm more accountable. I can be a reckless spender.
Yeah, but that curbed you in a bit.
But I've been curbed by not being able to just access
cash. I want to ask.
So now you needed to have a transfer, but he doesn't have an account. So he was using somebody else's account to transfer, and then the person gives him this and access and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that was the part, because there's sometimes you need cash. You want to buy fruits on the road. You want to buy some little perishables here and there.
It didn't affect your choice on Saturday.
And you just want cash.
But I feel we need to look at the value of the naira for us to be able to say if, this little funds are that important. I think things are very expensive in the country. That I remember trying to get fruits, and I remember talking to this particular lady, and by the time we're done talking, everything was going close to 1,800, and I'm like, wow. Meaning that if you're going to get this, you can actually pay with your card, or use, some sort of...
If you're going to pay with your card, she needs to have a POS.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're evolving to a level whereby people are transacting.
So I see what you're doing here, Alamide. Trust me, I see what you're doing. First of all, the coronavirus came and went, and we got some lessons from it. It evolved businesses. So with everything that's happened during this narrow design policy and everything, is it going to affect businesses, the structure or apparatus of businesses?
I think a lot of businesses have evolved. I think a lot of people have shaped up.
I will tell you, however, is that what it has done is expose the inadequacies of our financial system.
And that's what I wanted to come to.
It is so bad.
A lot of people have lost faith in banks.
Zero.
And that is why, and I'm telling you this for a fact, that is why a lot of people used to hoard cash at home. Because they did not trust the banking system. Now the banking system has disappointed them to the point that, you know what, take the old notes, give me the new notes, I'm still going to stash.
It didn't disappoint them. It held them by the balls and said, we are whack, but you're still going to have to say,
so
you have to bring
banking
those old
system
notes.
totally they were exposed. The banking system was exposed to the point that they have failed so many citizens with their applications, with their USSD systems, and so many other things.
And there's a reason for that. I mean, if we're being fair to the banks, I think the weight of how there was
the
a
volume of transactions.
I mean, they were not ready for it.
No, they weren't.
They were not ready for it. And anyone who understands technology,
but the banks should have been ready.
They couldn't have been ready.
Listen.
Because when we
these
look at
banks
this,
are not local banks.
when we look
They're
at this
international.
policy, when we look at this policy, those banks are not designed to carry the weight of what actually has come their way. They were not designed to it. If you look at the society, we're structured in a way whereby we have the cash carriers, we have the transaction people, and then we have the bonds people.
Can I ask you, but you know, well, you wouldn't, but the amount, the number of people, number of people that are unbanked as against the amount of people that are banked. What is the difference, if you get what I mean? I was talking to I think he worked in the bank, my friend who
earlier.
Would they have been ready?
Yeah, I think they will have been ready.
Let me
because everything, the system.
They will have been ready. My wife worked in the bank for almost 10 years. I don't want to say the name of the bank.
My wife works
She worked in the bank.
My wife used to work in the bank. Wow, look at that.
Here's the bankers.
My wife has done private banking. She's done tailoring. She's done so many things.
Yeah.
Banks were not ready.
Would they have been ready? They had a year.
So I think the CBN policy is for the CBN. Do you understand?
So that policy
they don't care how it affects the
Sorry,
market.
I'm going to go there.
Yeah, let's go there.
I'm going to go there. The CBN policy, who put it in place?
The CBN?
Exactly. Why did they put it in place? What was the reason? And then so soon after the election, we can go back to normal.
Okay, so
I'll go in there. I don't want you to go there as well.
Okay, let me kill this.
Go on, you're being too careful.
Let me kill it.
Kill it.
Let me kill it now.
Yeah, kill it.
The problem is the time at which the CBN decided to introduce this policy.
Thank you.
If the CBN decided to do this after the current president-elect happened, it would have been a different ball game. So there was something targeted at this political system.
There was
at this
an
point
agenda in place.
There was an agenda in place.
And you thought he couldn't handle it.
If they had time, do you understand? Would have found a smooth way to say, give it a year, and watch the new notes come into the system and build the process.
So
and
it was
the banks.
in itself an apparatus.
Yes, it was.
Exactly. Oh, I can't believe we all agree. If the CBN was a person, do you understand? The CBN should be flogged.
It'll be like a person that's not getting laid and is upset.
So what was
They're not getting laid.
What was the
and they don't behave
CBN's
anyhow.
grouse? Then is the question exactly.
They were not getting laid, so they needed to basically.
The CBN was wanking.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys want to bring it back to the black
using toys and stuff, so they wanted to just find somebody else to screw, and they screwed the populace.
If you know this show this well, you know this is about the time when everything becomes car crash, and it's happening because these are.
We said it was money, politics, and people.
We touched on that. But, you know.
You and
I wish Okwe was here because I wanted to come at him for some of the things he posted on socials. I agree with him with some things, and I disagree with him with some things as well. But what the most important part of Okwe, if you're watching, congratulations.
He's in traffic.
He's in traffic.
Just send me a video.
You're surprised if congratulations to you. And we'll talk on socials as we have been talking. But congratulations to you and big ups.
We just always try to prove at this time of the show that we're not drinking water. You can tell. Tell me what we're going to do. We've got some time to go, and we're going to reserve that for your comments. So we're going to be taking your messages when we come back. Use the hashtag #DBlackTable on TVC. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
As a guy, when it comes to every decision you're taking, ask yourself, who am I and how is this going to impact on my person? Bro code.
Alrighty. Hey, careful. I hope you didn't hear what he said because
what we were saying, let's not hide it from the people. What we're saying is that from people that interact with commercial sex workers and there's no cash and there's a transfer, how do you do it? Does she wait to get the alert, to get the debit or credit
before or after?
Before or after?
The question is, how does the service work before.
How does it, you know?
With plenty of anticipation and trepidation.
Do you understand?
Will it go?
Do you mix new notes?
Because it's not going on.
Do you mix new notes and old notes? And
Alright,
is she a new hoe or an old hoe? Does it take? So mix
this segment is not about us. It's about what everybody sent in. Okay, so let's give them a chance here. I can't see any of our regulars here, but Shade Audu of Now says to err is human, but to forgive is divine. I think she's referencing our very first
cheating
part, the cheating bit. Yeah, where we talked about whether cheating cheaters should be allowed back into your lives. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, yes. To forgive is absolutely divine, and forgiveness is at the center of all of this, because if you don't forgive, no matter how much you pretend, I don't think you'll...
Yeah, I think I'll forgive and move forward with a cheating partner if I actually see a future in.
No, I will forgive. I don't care about the future. I will forgive and absolutely forget.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
I'll move on. That's what I'm saying.
There's no naira out there. Why am I carrying all this? There's too much extra.
I'm with you with a little twist. You forgive and try to forget, but if something keeps reminding you, then it's hard to forget.
Yeah, I get you. I see what you're saying.
And women make this mistake. Well, no, when people make this mistake a lot. The person you cheated with, if you know it's a problem for your relationship, cut that person off. But when you still want that person to be a part of your life, that's when there's a problem. Okay, I'm moving on. So X this person from your life, and you're like, no, we're still working in the same office. We still this, that.
Do I know this person says, people will have to start competing with these virtual sex machines. Yeah. Chai, I'd like to see Nigerian women fight something that isn't physical. Thank you. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Because women always want to have a punching bag, somebody that they can level everything on. Oh, it's her, it's also her. That's the other thing, and Kichi. There's always a name. One is virtual. Whose shit are you going to tear?
They'll smash the entire machine.
But still,
that's what's going to happen.
They'll smash the machine.
Yeah, but I'll just buy another one. You know.
Well.
And are you going to keep...
That means the coochie is that good.
Can I be honest? I think this kind of redefines the whole aspect. If your partner is uncomfortable with it, then it will be seen as cheating.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Exactly.
As long as your partner is uncomfortable with the attention you are giving something.
But gang, I think...
Because you're cheating
out of 10 couples, about 8 actually have moments like that, and they keep it out.
Moments like what exactly? They go to the market, buy a Nintendo, and then take it home?
Guilty pleasure.
You can see what juices are in the fuel tank.
I was so invested in biking. I love bike. I had my crash, and I went obsessed with biking. It was crazy, but I had never stuck it in there. Anyhow,
I was cheated with PS4.
So yeah, the complaints were genuine, and I can imagine only now sitting here, and I'm actually living through it, and I'm like,
I once cheated with Bang Bros. Have you know Bang Bros?
I do not know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Some bros in the band that go around and bang. It's just
helping innocent young women.
Wow. Brazers.
I hope my church people are not watching this program. I swear to God.
Higihaga here says JJC can decide to marry as many times as he wants. You people should leave him alone, because Oni is there marrying all your sisters. Oni, all your sisters and girlfriends. So I know they complain. If the man can afford the marriage, let him.
Go ahead. That makes sense.
Well, Higihaga, good point there. Very nice. I see what you're thinking.
Higihaga, what a name.
But it's creating the sense that polygamy is is allowed in Nigeria. Is what I'm thinking.
Well, no, you can't call this polygamy in this sense, because him and his wife have broken up. They're basically separated, if not yet divorced. And if he wants to move on,
divorced, no.
Well, because here's the funny thing.
But because of his,
I would say they're separated, and he's trying to move on. And like he said in his post, his wife is not giving the opportunity for a sit down and find out, do we have a future together?
Yeah.
Can we make amends? Can we come back together as a family? She's not giving him that opportunity. And in 9 months, when last did you stay without sex? 9 months.
How long?
How long have I stayed without sex? Since I've been
as a married person. It can't be 9 months.
9 months is a long time.
I'm saying this now. Where's my camera? That's the camera. If you are married and you stay 9 months without having sex with your spouse, are you married? 9 months.
That's a long
That's
time.
enough time for another human being to come into existence.
Sorry, I'm getting some inquiry here. All right, so I'm being instructed to ask you specifically how long you have stayed without.
We've had
sex.
this. We had this on the show.
No, he wasn't on.
He wasn't on that episode.
Yeah, so it's your turn.
Without sex.
Yes.
A month.
Sounds about right. Everybody.
Yeah.
You said 3 weeks though.
No. But here's the funny thing.
Did you say 3 weeks?
I can't remember.
Don't
what
just
I
watch
said.
the time. You said 3 weeks.
What I
Didn't
mean
you?
is, I said I want you to understand something. If your relationship cannot be based on sex alone,
Yeah.
neither can your marriage.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I agree.
So at some point, even in your older days, I mean, you guys are young. You're in your late 30s or early 40s. Do you understand? You're much older than I am. So what I'm saying is. What I'm saying is that you get to you get to a certain point in your life, right? That you know that your relationship with your wife is no longer sexual. Yeah. And when you get to that point, you know that you can actually do without sex. It's not all about sex, but
So
women
women
see
see that starvation.
Do you know that makes me wonder, how many of our presidents are that active in the bedroom? I'm just putting it out there. How many of our presidents do we think are that active?
When you say our president, you mean past,
present, and future. Do you understand? Some presidents might obey to the rules of the other room. Some presidents might want to articulate their stance in the bedroom. Some presidents might want to obey the bedroom. Moving on. So it all depends. You want to, but then you look at their wives and you be like, do the wives feel starved? Are the wives satisfied? Do they get what they need? And with that said, I cast my vote.
One last comment from you guys. Thank you very much for sending him in. Float White Biscuits here says, by the time this whole currency brouhaha is over, we will realize how we have suffered, because what the heck, he says, and he says actually spells it out. Alaba James Bond said, nice gang, just spoke my mind. Why is the Supreme Court and that that's strong words. So these strong words here for Emefiele, causing all of this confusion. And finally, I'll take this one. Second 98 says, beautiful names by the way. It's funny how we all believe the Apex Bank was trying to ensure that money isn't hoarded by certain individuals when they're the ones supplying these same new notes. You said it, I didn't. But tell you what, guys. What an exciting edition we've had today. But we can't end the show without gang sticking it to you guys with just a tip.
Oh, hey.
So,
You guys want the tip from El Moi?
El Nino.
La cucaracha.
Okay, so what? Okay, the tip I have for you guys today is let's be as peaceful and non-violent with all the things happening in the country today, and know that we can move together as a people, as a unit. You know, we're not looking at tribe, we're not looking at religion. We can be able to be fully and 100% Nigerian. And whatever grievance you may have, trust me, in the next 4 years, you can always change or recast it. That's my tip for you guys.
Beautiful. The lines on the map are just what they are. They're pencil drawings. You are my brother, no matter whatever your color or facial scar. Let's keep it so. Thank you very much. It's been a grand one, Mr. Lambs. Good to have you, Jean-Luc, Mr. Gang. Let's do this again next week. No, you didn't see that. Thank you very much, everybody out there. It's been a Black Table. We'll catch you guys at 11 p.m. on a Friday. Do join us. Bye-bye now.